What is up, everybody? We're in for a quickie this time. We've been busy. We've been very, very busy.
Oh yeah.
But we wanted to make sure we got a video out today about the Random Trap Generator 2. If you haven't been following along, check out the links in the description, etc., etc. Let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
All right.
This isn't the first rodeo, so
Yep. All right. So, shall we do it D100 style?
sure, I'm down. Yeah.
All right.
2D100.
54. A 54 is going to give us step into light or darkness. And then the effect is going to be a 70, which is fear. All right.
Ooh.
I dig that one a lot.
I
All
actually
right.
like that a lot too.
So the trigger, ambiguous triggers. Let's see, mechanical, ambiguous, and that is step into light or darkness. All right. If we stick with the magical, because our effect was magical with the fear and all that,
Sure.
we could do a sunlit glyph, the rune that senses change in light, triggering the trap when a creature steps into its glow or plunges into shadow, or plunges it into shadow. So like maybe there's a light coming in from outside and or some other light source in the room and passing over it and having a shadow cast upon the glyph, that could activate it. Or there's the Gloom Ward, an enchantment keyed to darkness that triggers the trap when a creature carries light into a space meant to stay dark or snuffs the light that holds it at bay. So that's interesting too.
Weirdly enough, I really like the thought that if you bring light into that area, this goes off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh no, that's supposed to be dark in here.
Maybe
You casted light, or you bring your torch in there, and next thing you know, this fear takes you.
so the bringing light into the chamber is what does it. You can even do something where it's like exposing an object to light, so some sort of statue or whatever. But light being produced by magic or by torches or by sunlight or whatever, it will cause fear. The trap generates a terrifying force such as a haunting figure, an evil cackle, or low-pitched rumbling growl. We've got phantom apparition, maddening sound, waking nightmare, or aura of dread. I kind of like the aura of dread.
Aura of Dread's kind of sick, yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, wisdom saving throw or be frightened. So that could work. If you wanted to turn this into a spell trap, you would make a glyph essentially that casts fear on the triggering creatures. So you could do it like that, and therefore you just follow the instructions on the fear spell. So that could work. So let's go.
I like that a lot. It's one of those things where I could see like kobolds using this because they have dark vision, right? They can go around. They don't like the sunlight, and you cast light on one of their statues to one of their dragon gods, and they're like, no, that's not supposed to happen. You get stricken with fear.
So fear. So it's like an aura of fear in the room. I like it. All right, there you go.
Everyone make a will check. Oh wait, wrong.
With wisdom saving throw. All right, let's do it again. D100. 20. So we got a 20. With a 20, it's pick lock. So this is not
classic
attempt to pick lock. This is not fail to pick lock or anything like that. This is just the act of picking a lock is going to trigger the trap. Now we can keep it to the mechanical since we got a mechanical if we want to, or do a D30 and that way we get into the ambiguous as well. So I'll do that one, and we got a 29. Poison gas. Okay. So with picking the lock, poison gas happens. Let's see what type of object we might be picking, or at least the inspiration for the type of object. So let's see, where are we at? Tripwire, pick lock. So with a pick lock, doors and gates, chests and coffers, restraints, or curios. Ooh, I love the idea of a curio.
Me too. I was just thinking that as well. Like a puzzle box that has like straight up a lock.
Puzzle box.
So it's a false. It's kind of like designed if you try to just pick that.
Yeah.
But like the true way of opening, it's more of an actual puzzle. and if you mess up, you get blasted with poisonous
Poison
gas.
gas. Okay.
Always a fun one.
Yeah, and this will be a puzzle box.
Yeah, I like the puzzle boxes are always fun. I've seen people actually legitimately put a puzzle box on the table and be like, "All right, good luck."
Everybody. A real one. Yeah.
Yeah, real one.
The most immersive thing I ever did, which was kind of like that, was at a convention game. I went around to people that I knew would be in certain areas, people that ran the convention or people that were working the bar or whatever. And I gave them little scraps of paper. And I said, people might come along and ask you questions. If they do, hand them this piece of paper. And they said, we got you. So, that's how we did it, and it was super cool because then at one point during the adventure I said, you guys are in the village or the city or wherever we were, and you've identified that there's a few different people you need to talk to. There's the city watch, there's the mayor or whatever, there's the bar tavern owner, and the wenches at the bar, and so go find some information out. And they were all looking at me like, and I said, yeah, like let's just consider this hotel the city, and go talk to those people. And they were like, oh, and so a lot of them figured it out, which was great. The more clues that they gathered, the more information they had in the final act, which was cool.
Nice.
So, all right.
So neat.
Poison gas. So alchemical, that or burning brazier. Those are two options that we have. Since we already identified that it's probably part of this puzzle box, we could say that by attempting to pick the lock, it actually breaks some sort of a vial inside of that instead of any other inspiration. Obviously,
true.
You're welcome to use the inspiration, but in this case, I think we already answered the question as to where does the gas come from. So by picking the lock,
pretty easy when you think about it. Like you have some sort of especially if you want to keep this mechanical.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like inserting the key or inserting your thieves' tools breaks that seal.
Exactly.
And instantly just starts releasing the gas.
Yeah.
This also would be a pretty good one to make magical as well.
Yeah.
Just because it's depends on the size of the box and what you want it to contain.
Yeah.
It might just be an easier way to also make this magical.
Yeah. Totally. In which case you could do conjured cloud or bound vapor. So lots of different options there. Very cool. I like it. So that's two traps. We're going to be up to 250 traps in no time if we keep on making all these videos. Not to mention all the ones that we make behind the scenes, and the ones that people are submitting. Check the description.
Yep.
All right.
Saying, all the player submitted ones. We're gonna have plenty of traps.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our pick of the crop.
It'll be fun too to decide which traps get the trap diagrams as well. The trap diagrams.
Dude, trap diagrams are always so fun.
Yeah,
you see trying to figure out. Okay, now how did that puzzle box really truly work?
Because the artists, what they do is they sort of show you an X-ray version of the trap.
Yeah, cross-section.
Cross-section, engineering drawing kind of a thing. All right, here we go. Yeah. 35. So with a 35, we got a tripwire, and then I'll do another one. We got a 49, and with a 49, we've got deafness. Interesting. Let's see how this might work. So a tripwire is obviously mechanical. There are a few different types of tripwires we've included in here because it is the random trap generator 2. Let's see, tripwire, mechanical triggers, and tripwire. There it is. So tripwire, we've got the ankle wire, the throat height line, the disguised strand, and the slack trip line. Slack trip line is interesting. It's because it's loosely hung in a loop or sagging or some sort of cord like on the floor that you get wrapped up in. And then it triggers because it goes taut, not because it is taut and then is made slack because of the walking over it or getting stuck in it. It's already loose, and therefore you can kind of disguise it as things. Like if there's a bunch of rope in the room, you can't distinguish this rope from any other rope, and so you end up snagging on it somehow, and then it going taut is what actually causes you to trigger the trap.
Weirdly enough, I really like the rope because you could have like, especially if you're like describing things in the room and you're like you find this piece of rope and someone's like, oh, I'll collect the piece of rope, and then you're like, yes, as you pull the piece of rope, it's actually connected to the rest of the trap.
What about a rope that's dangling from the ceiling?
Oh,
that's an
it's just
interesting
like
one
there.
too.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, you see this rope that's clearly loose hanging from the ceiling, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
do we pull it? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like, especially if you put it in the room with like a locked door or a bell or like something like clearly you think you're gonna pull this and it's going to cause something like to happen, but it actually causes the trap to go off.
What was the effect? This is how boggled my
Deafness.
brain is. Deafness. Okay.
No, you're good. You're
so
good. I
was pretty sure it was in this area here. I thought it was there. Okay. So let's just say that we go with the slack tripwire, and then the effect is deafness. Now, if we wanted to stick with mechanical, then the deafness could be mechanical as well. We just have to figure out like, well, what could cause deafness in the mechanical sense. So there's a thunderous horn,
echoing chamber.
Yeah, there's a thunderous, so there's resonating chamber right there would be the other option. I wonder if it is a slack line, like it's hanging from the ceiling, maybe it's coiled up on the floor, and you think like, well, this leads to something else. If you were to pull on it, it actually pulls a massive bell down.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was actually thinking a massive bell as well.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Especially if you wanted just to keep this like kind of mechanical. Because you could treat the room so that it's just so it's kind of mixing the top one, which is like the horn, and the resonating chamber, so that it's like, yeah, look,
bong,
and it goes bong, yeah, exactly, and then it echoes in there, and you're like, no one can hear anymore. You're all just the ringing.
We gotta remember this for the thumbnail. All right, we'll find that later. Hey, let's go through it at the same time. We'll find it. All right, we have fun. So that's a good one. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Let's see, pull, slack, rope, bell.
Yeah, it causes a loud bell.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't need a bell big enough to be like, hurting you when it hits the ground. I mean, or it falls in a place that's not like right on top of you or whatever. Perhaps some way of like pulling this side, the bell ends up falling over there. Could be kind of cool.
Yeah, or I mean, you can set this up so the bell is very visible, and it goes back to the whole resonance chamber, where you're like, this slack rope's clearly attached to this bell, and you pull it, and then the room's designed to keep that echo in there.
Or the bell is actually hanging somewhere in the room. It's massive, and by pulling that rope, a big log comes out of nowhere and smashes into the bell. And it's just like, whoa! All right, cool. I think we got it. Let's see. Bell gets rung. I'm going to say, instead of bell falls, gets...
Yeah, bell gets rung.
Okay, cool. All right, one more. Let's do this.
Let's do one more. Yeah,
one more. It's quick and dirty.
I'm down.
Quick and dirty Tuesday. All right. D100.
We're not calling it that, by the way.
We're not talking. Okay, that's fine.
That's...
Quick and Dirty Tuesday. All right.
No, we're gonna workshop. Stop calling it Quick and Dirty Tuesday.
I got 64. So that's bring object, which I think is a great one. And then if we want to do the D30, where ambiguous will start us out with the 1 up to 10, and then magical finish us off with the 11 to 30. That way we can stay with magical for the effect. We've got 15. So that would be... fear again. Okay, we'll re-roll because we already got fear on one of the other ones. 30. Okay, so that's wild magic if we want to do that. Bring object creates wild magic effect.
Ooh,
we like that?
I like that.
Okay.
I do like that.
Okay.
Because like the object itself could be the thing emitting the wild magic once you bring it into this area. You roll on the wild magic table.
Did we do one like that already? Am I
we did one that was
Which
It
one had
wasn't
wild?
bring object. It was like when object goes to an area or something like that.
Isn't that bring object?
Um, yeah, I don't think it was bring object. Actually, maybe it was bring
Could you
object.
check? Could you check Discord?
Uh,
Because I could re-roll the D30. That time I got a 17.
well, I don't. I definitely know it wasn't wild magic. This is the first time we've got wild magic.
No, I think we did get wild magic.
Did you
Anyway,
get wild magic? Maybe it was with you and Megan, because you and Megan did one.
that's true. It might have been me and Megan. Okay, well, I just re-rolled because I know we did wild magic at one point in time, and I'm pretty sure it was bring object. But let's do it like this.
Buddy, sure.
So this time we'll go bring object. This is how easy it is to modify these, by the way.
I know. Yeah.
So let's do bring object, but I rolled a 17, which is invisibility. So bring object then causes invisibility, but then the question is like to who? Who gets invisible?
What? Yeah.
And for how long?
Oh, that actually makes something so yeah. I wonder if the object itself disappears. Like you have the MacGuffin, you bring it in, and now it basically becomes invisible in this room. So like whoever was holding it, if you were like straight up holding in your hand, you would know you still could feel it, right? But if it was on someone's person and they walk in and they're like, okay, break out the MacGuffin, and you open up your backpack and you're rummaging through, or like you're trying to find it now,
anymore.
Yeah, it's invisible.
Okay.
I mean, you'd probably be able to find it with a good enough check, because of course you would feel it, right? I mean, if your player's got a bag of holding or something like that, you're probably not finding an invisible object.
What about this? So I got a little bit of inspiration here. So that one of the options here is stolen relic. So what if carrying it past the boundary causes the thing? So this is a little bit of Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, if anyone's familiar with that. So this is a little bit of that. So stolen relic going past the entrance, let's say, of the area then creates the invisibility, where this thing is only visible when it's inside of this dungeon or wherever. So what we have for options are vanishing gear, vanished creature, vanished surroundings, and selective vanishing. So if you wanted to go with the item itself vanishes, that would be the gear, obviously. You could also do something where whoever's holding it goes invisible, and that might seem like it's kind of a cool thing, but then permanent invisibility could be not so good.
I mean, trying to know where your friend is at all times, but they're straight invisible is hard to deal with.
Yeah, but I like the idea of this item is only visible in the dungeon. And
so if you take it out of the dungeon as you're leaving, it turns itself invisible.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that.
All right,
that's really neat.
Bring object, invisibility.
That could be a real fun way to send your adventurers to get like a MacGuffin or a thing, and they put it in their bag, right? And they think they have it, and then they leave the dungeon later, and then you're having them try to find it, and it's essentially the object itself is trapped, where it just it's harder to find now because it's invisible. They think they lost it. You could really sow some stuff against your players for that type of stuff. You're like, you were supposed to have it. Like, what happened? The DM's just sitting there like, I'm sorry.
Where did it go?
I don't.
Where did it go, Dave?
I do this to make chaos. Okay.
It's fun. Good tension. Anyway, there you go. There's four traps that'll go in the book, made from the Random Trap Generator 2. If you don't already know about it, you should know about it. Go to all the links in the description. We've got the Kickstarter campaign in its pre-launch phase. You need to follow the campaign if you want this book.
Go download the PDF.
Download
check
the PDF
it out yourself.
Exactly.
Make a trap and submit it to our form. We're taking user-submitted traps so that we can go over them and add them to the book.
Or multiple traps. You can make multiple traps.
Or multiple,
Go join the Discord, share your traps with the community. Let us know what you're making and how it's going for you. So, again, it's just a quick one tonight, but that'll be it. What do we got? 19 minutes, under 20. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yay.
Have a good one. Happy gaming. Bye-bye.
Take care, you guys.